Hello and welcome back to Nutrition Mission. I'm Victoria and I'm doing these podcasts in order to help people sift through all of the very confusing information that's out there and constantly being pumped into social media. I wanted to give a professional, measured response so that people have a quick source of information and they don't need to troll through all of these influencers, people who've done a 5-minute course. I have over 20 years' experience, so you're getting professional, safe advice. Now, today, magnesium is my topic. It's something I keep seeing pop up, various Facebook groups, Instagram people. It's there, it's being bandied about, and there's lots of public advice being given to people which may not necessarily be appropriate. And it does worry me because magnesium has such a massive role with our functionality that if its prescription is wrong, it can cause problems with our health. So I want to ask this question: who is complicit? If you, as a member of the public, give advice about calcium to another individual and it's not correct and it leads to health issues for them, who's complicit? Are you culpable in giving misinformation? I would be, as a health professional. So we need to get it right. And that's what I'm hoping that this little podcast will do. Now, let's make a start. I see magnesium as the king of minerals in our food because it has such an important role. And I'm going to run through those its roles to make it clearer as to why I believe it's a king. If you imagine a pack of cards, there are 4 kings, 4 queens, 4 jacks. Well, my 4 kings in my pack of cards is magnesium, sodium, potassium is another really important one, and calcium, because they all work together and they stand shoulder to shoulder in their power place. And magnesium is one of these kings. Now, it acts as a coenzyme. So that's an enzymatic role, okay? And it's really important for the synthesis of protein. And that leads to the synthesis of DNA and energy production. Excuse me. Now, the production of ATP, which is our body's main source of energy, is also rolled out through magnesium. So low magnesium can equal the slowing down of energy production, which can lead to fatigue. So that's a really important thing to remember. Magnesium is really connected to our energy production. Also, another role is bone health. And that's bandied about a lot. It's very focused on because of osteoporosis and other bone health conditions. 50 to 60% is present in our bones. That's an enormous amount. And the rest remains in our soft tissue. So there's a very limited amount in our blood serum. So when we have blood tests to show our magnesium levels, it's a very finite amount and very flexible because it's also excreted through our urine. So magnesium can be quite hard to test for. It plays a really important part in our regulating of calcium and vitamin D levels as well. So for our bone density, our bone health, magnesium is king. Also, another role is muscle, nerves and heart health. Now you imagine our muscle and nerve responses are driven partly by magnesium. So if our magnesium levels wobble, then our muscle and nerve responses are going to wobble as well. The muscle is the heart is a muscle, so its function is dependent on a correct balance of magnesium. And also by regulating calcium absorption, magnesium also in turn regulates our heart function. So when you're saying to your friends, take magnesium, have magnesium for something or other, indirectly you're actually affecting muscle and nerve responses, bone health, heart function and energy. So it's all lining up, isn't it, to possibly go wrong. Now, another function is that Magnesium helps support other mineral movements. So calcium, potassium and sodium. Magnesium polices their levels. Going right back to our chemistry lessons, do you remember osmosis? And osmosis was the movement of certain substances from a high to a lower level, and it would balance things out. Osmosis is all about balancing. Now, this osmotic function is what happens within our cells, and magnesium helps that happen. So, interestingly, magnesium deficiencies found in individuals with heart failure, and this can mean that their osmotic movement wasn't effective. So again, when we're supplementing, we need to bear that in mind. Another thing that's really interesting here is blood pressure. Again, as a king mineral, magnesium is really, really important. Now, it can play a role in the reduction of elevated blood pressure. It can improve the effectiveness of some hypertension medications. So it has a role to play. Vitamin D and calcium levels, again, are regulated by magnesium. It acts as an assistant in the metabolism of vitamin D. An overdose of vitamin D can result in elevated calcium, and in turn, this can decrease magnesium. So these all need to be watched and balanced. It's interesting, isn't it? Now, something that I'm seeing a lot is the role of magnesium with constipation and digestive health. Now, a factor that we need to look at is our microbiome thrive when magnesium is at the correct level. Magnesium reduces gut inflammation and supports the mucosal membranes. So for assisting in bowel movement, it's fabulous in helping relax, calm, which helps peristalsis, the movement, our gut biome to thrive, and in reducing inflammation, discomfort can be reduced. So I think magnesium has a place with our gut health, but it needs to be managed very, very carefully, along with other medications. Now, something that's very, very interesting with magnesium is how it plays a role as a doorman. Okay, it's policing, it's guarding, it's protecting. So if we play around with our magnesium levels, other vitamins and minerals can be affected. So remember, calcium and magnesium work side by side. They have this lovely relationship. They hold each other's hand. They balance out. So we need to watch that we don't go crazy with one or the other. They need to be allowed to do their jobs. Now, where magnesium's needed for bone and heart health, a vital role, as this doorman role, is that when it's low, our bodies are more inclined to deposit calcium in our soft tissues. And this can cause stones, grit, sludge. It can allow agitation, heart rhythm changes, anxiety, an overactive mind, cramps, restless legs. So if magnesium is allowed to dwindle down and calcium becomes higher, there are consequences. Vitamin D, let's go back to that again. Vitamin D is lovely. I mean, it is absolutely essential for reducing the risk of fractures and falls. There's a lot of research out there. But vitamin D needs magnesium for its activation. So if magnesium is low, then the effectiveness of vitamin D is compromised, even if you have adequate sunlight. So vitamin D and magnesium, again, have this amazing relationship. Now, the bowel side of things, I'm going to just flick back to, because if we overdose on magnesium because we want to loosen our bowels, we can end up going completely wrong. You can have diarrhea, bloating, discomfort, cramps, because you're pushing it too much. So be careful Be careful for what you wish for. You might want to have better bowels, but don't overdose. Go in gradually, introduce it slowly, and just be careful. Now, supplementation should be guided, and the diet generally should have enough. But examples where you could supplement would be fussy eating, weight loss surgery or injections, eating disorders, long-term anxiety. Certain medication can affect the absorption of magnesium, and inappropriate supplementation. And that's why you need to see a nutritionist to make sure you're getting the right supplementation. A good source of magnesium is magnesium citrate. And this is magnesium combined with citric acid, so it forms a salt. And this is easily absorbed and it's very gentle on the digestive system. But again, use it cautiously. People use it to help slow down constipation. You want to have a more regular bowel movement. So that's why it is popular. But what I'm suggesting is if you do decide to use it, get advice from a professional like myself, and always introduce things very gently. Taper it in other words, a very slow gradual increase in dose, and that way there aren't any big events like sudden onset diarrhea and stomach cramps, which could catch you out. Some people have been known to mess themselves because they've gone in too heavy. So softly, catchy monkey. Now, going back to what I said earlier about giving advice to individuals about taking magnesium, you don't know the backstory. And that's why this next bit is going to hopefully just add a little bit of caution to when we talk about magnesium with other individuals, because magnesium will affect the absorption of certain medications. So where we're saying to people, take magnesium for example, constipation, it could have a really difficult contra or conflicting effect on medications they're taking. So we need to be very careful on the advice that we give, because those individuals may not realise the effects that magnesium is having on their medication and its absorption. So let's run through some of them. I'm going to start off with antibiotics. Okay, now magnesium should be taken a couple of hours. Sorry, I've got this the wrong way around. So antibiotics should be taken a couple of hours before your magnesium supplementation, because it can affect the absorption. Another one is biphosphonates, which people who are osteoporotic, osteopenic, may be on biphosphonate treatment. Now, these treatments are used to help strengthen bones and reduce fractures. But magnesium supplements can reduce the absorption of these medications and lower their effectiveness. So we need to be very careful. A way around this is to move when you take your magnesium supplement and take it a couple of hours before taking any of your biphosphonate medications. Now, another one is blood pressure medications, specifically calcium channel blockers. So that's medications like amlodipine, verapamil, diltiazem. Now these medications relax the blood vessels, and magnesium can have the same effect. So doing a combined treatment can cause problems such as falls, dizziness, confusion, risk of collapse. Can be very dangerous. You could end up fracturing. So you absolutely must be cautious combining magnesium with blood pressure medications, and this should be monitored and approved with a healthcare professional. Also, another group of medications that control blood sugar levels, like, let me think of one here, glimepiride is one, for example. Magnesium can increase their absorption, and this can affect blood sugar levels. So for diabetics taking magnesium, they need to be really careful that they're not going to influence their blood sugar levels with this supplementation. So it must be done cautiously. Another one is the proton pump inhibitors. So let's think of some names here. Omeprazole, lansoprazole, esomeprazole, the PPIs, proton pump inhibitors. Now, these medications are used for acid reflux. Okay, they can be bought off the shelf, therefore they can be very abused, and they can cause malabsorption, digestive issues, just by taking them, because people aren't necessarily aware of the long-term effects. Now, PPIs inhibit magnesium absorption, so long-term use of proton pump inhibitors can have a detrimental effect. They can lead to, if you think about it, magnesium helps with our energy. So long-term use of proton pump inhibitors affecting magnesium absorption could lead to fatigue. Magnesium's critical for regular heartbeat. So therefore we could have irregular heartbeat with long-term use of proton pump inhibitors. We can have tremor, anxiety, muscle spasms. So their use can affect our magnesium. So again, always double check, have your meds reviewed. If we're taking long-term proton pump inhibitors, we don't actually know if our symptoms of acid reflux still exist. Have you done things with your diet, your lifestyle, to help alleviate acid reflux? So have another look at it. Don't take these things blindly. Diuretics and water pills. So these medications will assist in the removal of excess fluid in the body. But in doing so, we could be losing magnesium through urinary excretion. So therefore, we can have difficulties with our magnesium balance. So this absolutely needs to be checked and monitored. Now, what I've done is I've attached a link which gives you a list of foods and the amounts of medication related to them. So you can have a good look at your diet to see where you're sourcing your magnesium from, so that you can bring these foods in, and then nature actually balances everything out. Nature's wonderful. It knows. Our metabolic selves, our physiological selves, know how to balance out our 4 king minerals. Okay, so that way the chances of supplementation are reduced. You don't necessarily need it. It's wise not to take a supplement unless you go through a nutritionist, a dietitian, a health professional, because as I've explained, it can go very wrong. And then we start supplementing and medicating for the other symptoms that are occurring due to magnesium deficiency. So we really do need to be cautious. So let's just have a little bit of a take-home summary to round things up. A balanced diet of fresh whole foods should provide you with the minerals required for optimum health. The mineral magnesium is a king. It's a macro and it has many key functions. Some medications could contribute to magnesium deficiency. So always check with a healthcare professional and consider testing your blood serum and your urinary levels, because it is hard to detect your magnesium levels, and a test of both will give you a good broad view. Supplementation must be managed. I keep saying this, but I really want to make sure that I've hammered this home. If you have any queries, then contact me. My contact details are in the bio, and yeah, just pop an email over or a text. Message me, and then I can send you some information that hopefully will keep you safe and guided. And if you want me to do a different topic, then let me know, and I will happily do a podcast about whatever topic to help get rid of those myths. There's so much out there, and I really want to start drilling in to get rid of the myths. The information is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more confusing. from people who aren't qualified, who don't necessarily have the experience. So let's stop looking at that. Let's start sourcing our information from the right people and sharing it so that we're safe and guided in the correct way. So thank you for listening. I'm going to be doing more Nutrition Mission podcasts, so follow so that you can keep up to speed. I'm going to run through the four kings, so that the four king minerals, so that we can really hone in on that and avoid the problems that can happen. So yeah, keep in touch and thank you for listening and be safe.